Jordan, when Justin asked you, I still didn't hear a direct answer like yesterday. So, will the president help approve more weapons to Jordan?
Ed, we have this continuing security relationship with Jordan.
But there's a crisis right now. Bombs are being dropped in Syria. Right? I understand the long term, but the king went back there and said, "There's a crisis. We're going in." Mm-hmm. So, will the president approve it?
Well, Ed, this is the United States remains committed to ensuring that we stand shoulder to shoulder with our partners in Jordan at this very serious time. And it is clear that because of the terrible violence that was released via video yesterday, that nation is going through a very difficult time. And they can count on their partners in the United States to stand with them at that very difficult time. And if that means ensuring that they are getting the security assistance that they were promised, they can count on the President of the United States being a strong advocate for making sure that they get that assistance that they need.
And to put a finer point on what Justice said about Nancy Pelosi, she said, quote, "I believe the administration should move quickly to give more capacity to Jordanians." Mm-hmm. So that's why this is not the president's critics on the Hill saying you're slow of foot. You have the top Democratic leader saying, let's go.
Well, Ed, what I can tell you is that the president will continue, as he has in the past, to be a strong advocate for making sure that the United States is doing all that we can and all that we should and all that we promised we would do to show our support for the Jordanian people, including providing needed security assistance.
Last one, Susan Rice tomorrow giving this speech about laying out the sort of official national security strategy. Last time this was done was in 2010, and the news reports at the time and the actual speech we've looked at said that the point of it was the administration's strategy basically was that the U.S. needed to focus on a broader agenda and not just organize national security policy around counterterrorism, and that you had to focus on managing threats, use less American power, and not just focus on counterterrorism. In retrospect, was that naive 5 years later?
No, I think that not at all. In fact, I think one clear piece of evidence to indicate that strategy has enjoyed some success is the success that the administration has had and that the president has had in building and leading a coalition of more than 60 nations to take the fight to ISIL and degrade and ultimately destroy them. That it's not exclusively American planes that are dropping bombs on targets in Syria and Iraq. That we welcome the participation of our allies in Europe, but also some of our allies actually in the region who are working side by side with American military pilots to strike targets on the ground. That we are working closely with Saudi Arabia, for example, to get to work on a program that would train and equip moderate Syrian opposition fighters so that they can take the fight on the ground to ISIL. And I think that is an indication of how we can use American influence to protect American national security interests. Now, of course, and I had this conversation with Michelle a little bit yesterday, of course the United States military is taking a leadership role, and they are shouldering most of this burden. But by making sure that we're including our partners that also have significant military capabilities, we can reduce the strain and burden on the American military and on the American taxpayers, by the way, but also do that in a way that gets them more bought in on this fight. So the United States is not standing alone countering this threat, but that we actually have countries all around the world that are contributing to this effort to degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL.